Hey, I'm Jack, and I'm here at PPG Paints Arena watching the warm-ups between the Penguins and the Sharks. And you're watching Post to Post.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. This is a big video because this is a video you're excited for. This is a video I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I've seen your list.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the 10 things that you think the NHL can do to increase the fan experience positively.
Positively, yes.
This is not based on business reasons. This is
Nothing to do with business.
nothing to do with business.
This probably hurts business.
Yes.
And all 10 of these things will be rejected immediately.
Yes.
By anyone who knows anything about the NHL.
But it's fun to discuss anyway.
Sure.
I like some of the things on your list. I dislike some of the things on your list. We're going to have a conversation about it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people at home are going to agree with some of the things on your list as well. So if you'd like to start, I would love to hear what's number one on your list.
Number one on my list is make the games shorter from start to finish. Now,
You mean like
from the time the game starts to the time the game stops.
period should be less than 20 minutes or?
No, you can't do too much of a rule change that's going to affect stats and make it hard to compare eras of hockey to each other.
So still three periods
Three
of 20
periods of
minutes.
20 minutes each.
Okay, I agree with that.
They got to be that. But if the game is supposed to start at 8 o'clock, start the game at 8 o'clock. Don't come on the air at 8 o'clock and have a jersey retirement, a cup presentation for the player of the month, bring out 3 or 4 very worthy community people for the ceremonial face-off, 2 anthems. I'm not even sure I like anthems at a game during the regular season. Not even sure I like that.
I'm kind of
I don't
over
want to get
those,
controversial. You know, I know the anthem. I can just hum it in my head before each game, and we're good. So those are some of the things. Drop the puck at 8:01. Let's say it's 8 o'clock start time. The teams, by then, the teams have already skated out on the ice. The referees, the 4 blind mice can all come out, and they can pick away at the net and make sure there's no holes in the net. You know, it's a thing they do. I don't know what they do if they find a hole.
You always see them doing this.
Yeah. Anyway, so they can do all that jazz before the game starts. But when we come on air at 8 o'clock, the players are essentially filling up the benches. The 5 starting forwards and defensemen are out there. The goalies are in their crease. At 8:01, pop.
Let's get her done.
Down goes the puck, and away we go. So that's one. This is all part of part one. One of reason thing of 10.
So that was, you've just released all of part one.
No.
Are there more?
There's more to part one.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Right now, intermissions, I think, are 18 minutes between periods. So you've got the first period, 18 minutes of Zamboni time, and then you get the second period, and so on. Most rinks, if not all, in the NHL now, have 2 Zambonis. One comes out from each end, or they both come out from the same end, and they do double duty, and they clean that ice in 6 minutes.
Yes.
Yet we have 18 minutes. You know why we have 18 minutes? Not for the Zambonis. We have 18 minutes so they can load more commercials on us during the hockey game.
18 minutes seems pretty egregious.
It's excessive. Absolutely excessive. The players need to hydrate. They need to relax, maybe even change their uniforms and get dry clothing on. So there's time needed for that. They have to have the pep talk and all that. Yep. One of them has to come out and do the stupid interview where we're going to really try hard, eh? We got to get the puck in the net, you know, and all that same crap they say every time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hockey interviews are the worst.
They're terrible. But it doesn't take 18 minutes to do all that. You can do it in 15, please, like you used to. You used to be able to do it fine. I don't like overtime, and I don't like shootouts, and I would get rid of them in the regular season altogether.
Wait, is this still number one?
Yes.
You'd get rid of overtime.
Overtime, and I get rid of shootouts. And when we get to reason 2,
You're losing me.
I'll talk about, well, that's okay.
Is this the last part of thing 1?
No, there's one more.
Okay.
Do away with the crazy video reviews. Offside video reviews, did the puck go over the glass, referee conferences. The only video review that I would support is, did the puck cross the line in an important goal in the playoffs?
So not even during the regular season?
No, frig it. If the referees didn't see the puck cross the line, no goal. If the goalie judge hit the light, the referee can talk to the goalie judge. Did you see it cross the line? Goalie judge says, yeah, I sure did. Well, that's his job. He's the goal judge. And if he saw the puck cross the line, and he's got the little buzzer in his hand, that's good enough for me. The puck across the line, get out the center ice and face off. Get her done.
I have to disagree with this.
No problem.
Okay.
I really don't think you're going to agree with very much of what I have to say. So that's all of number 1. Stop this taking 3 hours to tell a 1 hour story.
If just based on that sentence, all in favor, aye.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, the nitties and the gritties, you'll disagree on the finer points. Number 2, change the structure of how points are awarded in the NHL. Do it what soccer does. The team that wins gets 3 points. The team that loses gets no points. And if there's a tie, because remember, I've just done away with overtime and shootouts. If there's a tie, each team gets 1 point.
So you want to go back to ties
Yes,
with no overtime?
correct. In the regular season.
Okay.
All right.
I disagree. I'd be okay with a tie if it involved a 3-on-3 overtime of 5 minutes.
No.
Where's a high chance to score?
Right now, it's impossible to have a tie in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And with your system, if you had that overtime, what if it didn't settle anything? Would you still have a tie?
Still have a tie.
Then what's the point of having overtime if you still end up with a tie?
Fun hockey to watch and it would increase the fan experience.
I agree it'd be fun hockey to watch. They should make another league that just plays 3-on-3, and I'd probably watch it. But anyway.
Sounds good.
3 points for a win. So you're getting near the end of the season, like we are now. There's a team like Carolina or a team like Colorado that's really trying to make it into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 3 games left, and they need 7 points. And they can get it done with 3-point wins.
They get 9 points.
They can get 9 points. Or they can get 6 points and maybe hope another team loses. And so I just think that it's more incentive, especially late in the season, for a team to go for it. And I think that's exciting hockey. Going for it with 3 or 4 minutes left, maybe even pulling the goalie, because they need to get this win and they need the 3 points because 1 point's not going to do it. I'd like that idea.
I like the 3-point system thing you got going, but I don't think 3-on-3 overtime should be removed. I think it's one of the best decisions the NHL's made recently. So.
Okay. Very
Thanks.
good. Number 3. If you look at basketball, if you look at soccer, and if you look at some other sports, when one team does something that means they need to lose possession of the ball, then they just give possession of the ball to the other team.
Okay.
Okay. In basketball, how many tip-offs do you see in basketball? There's the opening tip-off, and occasionally, if they're wrestling for the ball on the court and they can't decide who should get it, they'll call a tip-off. Hardly ever do you see a tip-off. Mm-hmm. One team, the ball will go out of bounds, the other team gets to inbound the ball. Soccer's the same way. If there's a foul, like a bit of a not a nasty trip, but a trip where one player offends or does an illegal tackle on the other that doesn't cause injury, the ball just changes hands. They just make sure the other team gets the ball and the play keeps going. So there's no doodling around.
Obviously, the logistics of a hockey arena don't allow the players to step out of bounds to replay the puck inbounds due to the large boards and glass that are there.
Correct.
So
here's what happens. Let's say in an offside situation, a team is offside, the referee blows the whistle, calling it offside. Play shuts down. The team that just caused the offside throws the puck into the other team's zone behind the net.
Okay.
And then retreats. The other team just comes right back down the ice. No face-off.
No line changes, no...
The team that is coming back up the ice can change lines, but maybe the team that just caused the offside can't, or maybe they can if it's an offside. If it's an icing, they can't. Okay?
So does the clock keep going?
Clock keeps going.
Okay.
A 20-minute hockey game.
So basically, the only time you're going to get a line change is if there's a goal scored, a penalty called,
or you change on the fly. You change on the fly. That's right. The only time the clock would stop is with a goal, with a call of a penalty, or for some obvious reason that we can't decide something immediately.
So this would increase the flow of the game.
Yes.
It would stop the massive frustrations of face-offs.
Oh, and throwing people out, throwing people out. And, and we've talked about this in the past. They actually have a penalty in the NHL called delay of game. Delay of game apparently happens when someone throws the puck over the glass and it doesn't touch anything. But then they're not sure if it really went over the glass. So all 4 of the blind mice will get together. And they'll talk. Did it go over? Did it go out? I thought it hit something. I don't think. And then they'll have a little election. Then they'll have the ballot box will come out, and there'll be a scrutineer and a returning officer, and they'll decide whether the puck went over the glass. And then they'll call the penalty or not call the penalty after 90 seconds of deciding whether somebody else delayed the game. Does that sound insane to anybody else?
It does.
Because the referees themselves are delaying the game by having their conversation. Here's what I would do. Puck over glass, blow the whistle, treat it like an icing. Mm-hmm. New puck comes out, goes down to the ice to the other team that didn't do the offense or didn't commit the offense, and they come back up the ice. The team who put the puck over the glass cannot change until the puck comes back into their zone. Then they can make a change if they want to. Good luck to you, and keep the play going.
I like it. Yeah, I like that. I want to give you a compliment.
All right.
You sounded like a little bit like George Carlin there for a little bit during your rant.
I think that's an honor.
That's an honor. That's a good thing. So, congratulations.
Right.
If you don't know who George Carlin is, then you're missing out on life. So.
All right. So for some of these things, like a high stick contacting the puck, things that would normally get whistled down but aren't penalties.
Like a hand pass.
A hand pass, high stick on the puck. I would include puck over glass there. I would even include icing there. Things that normally would cause a whistle, blow the whistle, but don't go next to a face-off and go through all the line change and they're playing the stupid music. Just throw the puck down the other end of the ice. Let the team that deserves to have the puck back get the puck, and away they go.
Okay.
Alrighty. So that was actually number 3 and number 4 because I kind of combined them together. Number 5. Reduce the number of TV timeouts. Right now there are, I think, 3 or 4 in each period. I would reduce the number of TV timeouts to 1 in the first period, 1 in the second period, maybe 2 in the third.
So you're really increasing the flow of the game here. And you think the players would get tired with all these changes? Or more tired, I guess.
Yeah.
But you don't care?
I don't care.
Because you're the viewer. You're the fan.
I'm the viewer. I don't care if the players get tired. They're millionaires.
Yeah,
they're paid to get tired.
Top 10 things to make the NHL players feel more positively about hockey. No. This is about the fans.
No. I want the players. Hey, I would enjoy it if there was occasional puking. No.
Some yakking?
Yeah, some yakking.
Having a yak?
Some of the players on the bench having a yak because they got bag skated, So I don't know. Maybe 2 timeouts, if it turns out that way. There's going to be time required for the little kids or the little chicks or whatever comes out to scrape the ice off halfway through the period and clean it off. Because NHL players skate hard, a lot of snow gets created off of fresh ice, and it does need to be cleaned up. So that has to happen. That's a great time for a TV timeout. Fox has announced, the Fox network has announced that by 2020, they want to have only 2 minutes per hour of programming, of commercials.
Wow.
Yeah. And NBC has come along and said, we might do something like that too in our programming. I think that's where we're headed. There's so many people watching Netflix and so many people watching Amazon Prime and so many people watching just regular movie channels that they're so fed up with commercials, even you and I. Right now, as we're recording this, at this very moment, the Montreal Canadiens are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning in an afternoon game, and we're not watching it live because we're going to get to watch it on the PVR, and we have what you call skippies.
Oh, skippies.
We have skippies.
You got any skippies?
30 seconds at a time. They go to a TV timeout or they go to a commercial break during the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, game's back again.
I don't mind the odd commercial break, but it's like they take a commercial break the first under 10 minutes or something like that, the first under 5 minutes. First time there's a whistle under 5 minutes or whatever. Sometimes it happens with 45 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, they have that commercial break. They have to get in.
And like you're taking a commercial break with 45 seconds left in the period.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Now, I understand there's a business issue here. This is revenue.
And this isn't decisions based on business.
Yeah. This isn't what is good idea for business.
Don't make the business argument in the comments because this is a video that was created without that in mind.
Oh, you got to make the business argument because that's where the money comes from that pays the players, and that's how the broadcasting contracts and the bids and all that. We know all that. But we're fans. We want to watch hockey. We have different opinions on how we get to watch that hockey most efficiently, but we want to watch hockey. And I don't want to watch the same damn commercial the 10th time in this game because that's what happens. I don't know about American TV so much, but in Canadian TV, it's terrible. The same Dodge Ram commercial.
If I have to watch one more Dodge commercial,
it's insane. And the commercials aren't very good. That's the big
They had some
problem
good
too.
few Super Bowl commercials that were good.
Super Bowl
but
commercials are amazing.
That Chevy commercial with that ding dong that pretends that all the people he's talking to aren't actors.
Yeah.
It even says these people aren't actors.
Yeah. They might not be actors, but they're not very intelligent either. If they've been dragged all the way to the desert
Yeah.
and pulled out of the desert, and now they're looking at a vehicle and they don't know they're in a vehicle commercial.
And the stupid part about it is they always say, "Oh, this feels like an Audi," or "This doesn't feel like a Chevy." So that's how you have to con people into buying your vehicles, is to make it think it's something else than a Chevy.
Yeah.
Like you're just insulting yourself.
I love this new Chevy because it doesn't look like a Chevy.
Yeah.
Like, do you realize the reverse logic that's going
It's
on
just
there?
amazing.
It's crazy.
The marketing is amazing.
Yeah. So, reducing the number of TV timeouts would reduce the number of commercials, but it might increase the value of each commercial for the advertiser.
That's true.
The advertiser, if I'm Dodge, I'm saying, wow, if I pay twice as much to get my commercial or 5 times as much to get my commercial on the air, there's actually more chance someone's going to watch it than before.
And maybe less chance a competitor will submit their commercial for it.
Bingo.
So
Here's another one. Reduce the number of regular season games. Now,
I like this one.
Initially, I proposed going from 82 to 76. That's not a big drastic move. That's 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
But going from 82 to 76 in a 32-team league, which it will be when Seattle joins, every team plays every other team, or there's 31 opposing teams for every team.
Right.
Okay. There's going to be 16 in the other division. There's going to be 15 other teams in your division.
Right.
Or conference, I should say.
Right.
So you play all the teams in the other conference once home, once away. You play the other division in your conference once home, once away. And you play the teams in your own division twice home, twice away.
Okay.
That adds up to 76 games.
All right. So you're playing the teams in your division more than the teams you're playing in your conference.
Helping to keep the rivalry thing going,
You're playing
which is important.
the teams in your conference more than teams in the other conference.
No, the conference, well, overall, yeah, but the other division in your conference would be the same as the other conference.
Yeah, but so if as a Montreal, like the Canadians would play the Rangers in the Metro as much or as, like...
It'd be the same as the Kings.
Than the Kings in the West.
No, it'd be the same as the Kings.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, and there's ways to jiggle this a little bit, but there are too many games in the NHL right now.
I do agree with that.
The more games you have, the less each of those games means.
I don't think there's any need for a back-to-back game in the NHL from
Never.
any team.
Never. And that would actually eliminate, I think, the need for back-to-back games. Mm-hmm. And if you have to start a little bit later and end a little bit earlier, or do whatever you need to do to get around that, and get rid of the 5-day break.
Yeah, the bye week.
Yeah, get rid of that. It's only a recent thing anyway, so make it go away. So, reinstate crease protection for goalies. So if someone skates through the crease, blow the whistle.
Like Olympic kind of style.
Blow the whistle. Give the defending team the puck. The other team has to go down the other ice to the other side of center or whatever, and then away you go. That way, people will not go into the goalie crease if the puck's not already there.
Okay.
And that would be the dividing line right there. Also, though, get rid of the trapezoid at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that one.
Let the goalie, if the goalie wants to go out of the crease where they have no protection under my new rule, they're a regular player when they're not in the crease.
So if they go into the corner to get the puck, they're allowed to get checked?
Yep.
Heck yeah, I'm all down for that. I've been saying that for 20 years.
Make the crease a more protective spot for the goalie, and make the choice up to the goalie whether they want to stay in the crease or not. Mm-hmm. And if they get out of the crease, they're like anybody else. Probably more protected than anyone else anyway because of all the padding they've got. And maybe less agile too. So think about that. But get rid of the stupid trapezoid.
I agree.
Okay. Number 8. I would say strengthen or reinforce unsportsmanlike penalties for players and coaches. Too many close-ups of coaches lately. I'm not a lip reader, but I know what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And the things they're saying are things I wouldn't want my 9-year-old kid to hear, and I bet you my 9-year-old kid can see it too.
When did I start watching Trailer Park Boys?
Hopefully you were older than 9.
I don't think I was much older than 9.
I hope you were.
No, I think it was like 14 or 15, something like that.
Even that's probably not appropriate. But
that's not my fault. That's your fault.
I can't control what you're watching when I'm not there.
I turned out okay, for the most part.
You think? But I just think that it's gone way overboard. Coaches don't respect the refs. The way they're yelling at them, the names are calling them, and even if you can't hear the coaches saying it, you can see them saying it, And I just think that instills the wrong message in the youth of today who are going to the rink on Saturday morning themselves. Why should they behave any differently than they see the players? The Drew Doughty explosion, did you see that a week or two ago? Where they throw him in the penalty box. I saw the uncut, unedited version where you hear every word, and then I saw the bleeped version. Well, basically the bleep version is a string of bleeps. And he lost his mind. He acted like a child in the penalty box because he was upset with the penalty that was called. I just think there's too much of that. If I was the ref in a game like that where he's going all nuts, be like that, and you'd be going home.
10.
Gone.
Ooh.
And I do that to a coach, too. I'd be throwing coaches out so fast.
There'd be no coaches left.
There'd be no coaches left until they decided to mind their manners.
You'd just be doing this, and there'd be...
My head would be flat from hitting it. Alrighty. Eliminate double minor penalties for a little bit of blood.
I agree with this as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with this.
If there's a little bit of blood, it's 4 minutes, and if there's no blood, there's 2. Well, guess what? The no blood one might actually hurt worse, or maybe cause some other thing. So forget the blood. Don't be looking for blood, or trying to get the guy, oh, geez, I better scratch this and get some blood.
He could bite the inside of his lip and make himself bleed. I'm not saying that players do that, but you can do it easily.
So just forget it. If it's a really bad high stick, give him 5. You can give a high sticking major if you want to. Give him 5. But don't be looking for blood to decide whether it's 2 or 4. Get 2-minute penalty, be done with it.
Yeah. All right, sorry about that. Ran out of space on the card there. So
oops, a little long-winded.
Cut off, but it had stopped just after we started talking about the last one, so you didn't miss much. We'll just talk
the last one. Again. Restructure NHL All-Star games. Instead of the current All-Star format where you have each division playing the other divisions in 3-on-3, and it's all foolish, go back to a traditional All-Star game. Eastern Conference versus Western Conference, 5 players against 5 players, 6 counting the goalies. Play 20-minute periods, 3 periods like a regular hockey game, have line changes, have the players chosen by the NHL Sports Writers Association or someone who's not just a fan voting thing.
An accredited person.
Accredited person who's following the game and responsible for the decisions that they're making. And then, best of all, not only just have a regular hockey game, have the regular hockey game mean something. The conference that wins the All-Star game becomes the conference that has home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Regardless of how the teams actually ended up seated in the point standings.
So East versus West, a full 60-minute game.
Yep.
5-on-5.
Yep.
Winner gets home ice, or the winning conference gets home ice in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Have it mean something. Have it be more than just a party. Have it mean something.
Would you change the skills competition at all, or keep that just fun?
Keep it for fun on the previous evening, and they can, yak and have some fun with each other. And I like that part. I know you really like that part, and I do too. So that part's okay. The socializing is fine. But when it comes time to play hockey for that hour, why have the NHL playing hockey in an all-star game where they're not playing that way for most of the season except in an overtime, which I don't like anyway. So,
I don't mind that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
To make it more competitive. People would actually watch.
I think they would, because the game would have meaning.
Yeah.
This last All-Star game, I believe I watched some. I didn't watch them all because there were, 4 different games or 5 different miniature games of, shortened times.
Yeah.
And oh, man, I don't know.
I agree. It's a little uninteresting for most people. So
yeah. So those are 10 decisions, and some of them contain individual components that make them larger than 10. But those are 10 ideas I'd like to see thought about or even have conversations about in the NHL. As I've been watching more soccer, been watching other sports, I'm really attracted by the fact that the players themselves can handle the turnover of play in a legitimate, structured way, and the game can flow better. This would give broadcasters more certitude as to when the game is going to end. They might be able to play, for instance, a 1-hour NHL game in, let's say, 2.5 hours.
Which now takes at least 3.
It takes at least 3, sometimes more than 3. We know it in the worst possible way because our satellite or our television provider has a PVR system that allows us to record a game. But they only allocate, 2.5 or 3 hours for the game to happen.
Yeah.
So if you let it record based on the schedule they have on the guide, you never see the end of the game.
You always miss it. So
it always ends before the game is actually over.
You have to record the program after the game or set the program to record for 30 minutes longer.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's dumb. The reality is that the NHL can't get its games finished in time.
Yeah.
And they can't get their games finished in time because too many coaches are challenging icings and offsides, and there's all these discussions of puck over glass, and there's all this face-off throwing people out, and it's dumb. And hockey is so frustrating now to watch because in that 3 hours or sometimes 3.5 hours I've invested in the game tonight, I've only actually watched 60 minutes of play.
So if you go back to the 40s when you used to watch hockey play,
Ooh.
or the 70s, whatever.
Okay.
What was frustrating about hockey back then? Just as a comparison. Or do you remember there being any frustration? Or were you too young to even care?
I don't remember there being any frustration. I guess there was one thing I was frustrated about. Back then, if the players all bunched up over on the boards, one player would just hold the puck with his skate up against the boards for 2 or 3 seconds, and they'd blow the whistle and have a face-off. They didn't have this, keep playing, dig it out. That's one thing I like about what they're doing now. They used to stop the play all the time. And people could throw the puck over the glass, and they would just call a face-off, and they'd have the face-off in the same area. And goalies would do it all the time. Goalies sees a bunch of guys coming down the ice, and whoop, up over the glass and get a face-off. That was done, and it wasn't a bad thing necessarily, because face-offs were just that. They were face-offs. You skated up, you dropped the puck, and you had the face-off. You didn't have this.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So.
All right. No, I don't agree with everything in your list, but I think it's an important list. I think it's an important conversation, and I think it's some of the points a lot of people can relate with at home, and have conversations of their own with their hockey friends, with their hockey families, in the comment section, on Discord, on Twitter, wherever. I think there's some important logic in here.
And until some of these things change in my favor, I probably won't be watching live NHL hockey.
I only watch live NHL hockey when I'm not watching my PVR Canadians. Like, usually I watch 2 to 3 games at a time, which sounds ridiculous, but I'll watch the Canadians game on the TV and then 2 other games on 2 other monitors. And but yeah, I focus switches depending on what's going on and stuff. But
and I'll skip through commercials. I stay off social media so I won't get spoilers.
Yeah, I do too.
So for the first hour that a game is on, I won't watch it. I'll start watching it an hour after it starts. I'll skip through, and usually by about the end of the game, I'm caught up to real time.
Yep, definitely.
And that's how I'm going to do it. So if the NHL, if you're happier with that, if you're happier with your advertisers not getting any eyeballs, from me at least, and probably others like me, on your commercials, if you think that's a better system than shortening the game, if you shorten the game and do some of the things I've suggested here, I'll watch the commercials.
Let me ask you something.
All right.
Have you ever seen a commercial, not just including on sports, but on any TV show, and be like, wow, I need that, or I'm interested, I'm going to go look into that? Has a commercial ever influenced you to buy anything? Or do you always buy stuff out of necessity or preference? Has marketing ever baited you?
I don't think it has. What it has only done, if anything, it has alerted me to the existence of a product. So I would, if I see a product enough times, because of it being on advertising, then I might be more inclined to look that up when I'm making my buying decision. But I would never be convinced to buy something just because I saw it on a commercial.
Interesting.
I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I agree for the most part, except for nuggets. If I see nuggets in a commercial, like, man, I gotta get some nuggets. Anyways.
Well, I'm not saying that the commercial hasn't made me go, ooh, that looks good. But I haven't been like you, run right out the door. Where are you going, Neil? Going to get some nuggets.
Sometimes you just gotta get some nugs. But, all right, yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Yeah, people like your rant videos. So. Leave any suggestions you have below in the comments section as what kind of things would you change about the NHL to make it a more pleasurable experience for the fans. And just remember, ignore the business, because we've done that. So we understand that a lot of these things can't happen because of business reasons. It's just for fun. We're just having a conversation. So have a conversation with us down in the comments. That would be awesome. Like this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you in the next one. Adios.